Retirement golden years, sipping margaritas on a beach. We've all been fed the dream, but for many Americans, the reality is shaping up to be very different. Imagine this, working well into your 70s, barely scraping by and saying goodbye to those margarita dreams. Sounds grim, it might be closer than you think. America is staring down the barrel of a retirement crisis. We're living longer, which is great, except we need more money to fund those extra years. Meanwhile, our traditional safety nets, like Social Security and 401(k)s, are looking increasingly shaky. Throw in stagnant wages, rising healthcare costs, and a volatile economy, and you've got a recipe for disaster. This isn't just a problem for future retirees, it's a ticking time bomb for the entire economy. It's time to get real about retirement America. Social Security. It's the retirement plan you get whether you want it or not. For decades, it's been the bedrock of retirement security for millions of Americans. But hold on, because this bedrock is starting to look a lot like crumbling sand. Social Security is essentially a pay-as-you-go system. Today's workers pay into the system, and that money goes towards funding the benefits of current retirees. We've got a massive wave of baby boomers retiring, and they're going to be drawing on Social Security for longer than previous generations. Meanwhile, there are fewer younger workers to support them. The Social Security Trust Fund is projected to be depleted within the next decade or two. Payroll taxes will still be collected, but they might only cover about 75% of promised benefits. We need to address the funding shortfall and find ways to make the program more sustainable for future generations. Remember the good old days when companies used to take care of their employees' retirements with pensions? Well, those days are long gone, replaced by the glorious uncertainty of the 401(k). It's the DIY retirement plan that puts all the responsibility and risk squarely on your shoulders. With a 401(k), you contribute a portion of your pre-tax salary, and your employer might even throw in some matching funds. This money is then invested in the stock market, hopefully growing over time until you retire. Not everyone has access to a 401(k). They're primarily offered by larger employers, leaving many low-wage and part-time workers out in the cold. Even if you have a 401(k), you're responsible for choosing your own investments. And let's be honest, most of us aren't exactly Wall Street whizzes. The market itself is a fickle beast prone to booms and busts. While 401(k)s can be a valuable tool for retirement savings, they're far from a sure thing. They require discipline, financial literacy, and a healthy dose of luck. Okay, so we've established that both Social Security and 401(k)s have some serious flaws. But those aren't the only factors contributing to the retirement crisis. Wages have been stagnant for decades, while the cost of, well, everything has been steadily rising. That means people have less disposable income to save for retirement in the first place. The cost of healthcare in the US is astronomical and only going up as we get older. Let's not forget about the rising cost of education. Many young people are saddled with student loan debt, making it even harder to save for their own retirement. We're living longer, which is fantastic, except longer lifespans mean we need bigger retirement nest eggs to cover those extra years. So there you have it, stagnant wages, rising costs, student loan debt, and longer lifespans. It's a recipe for retirement disaster, and it's no wonder so many Americans are worried about their financial future. Let's talk about healthcare, because, let's face it, it's the elephant in the retirement room. As we get older, our healthcare needs tend to increase, and so do the costs. We're talking about a potential money pit that can quickly drain your retirement savings. Think about it. Chronic conditions, unexpected illnesses, prescription drugs, it all adds up. And if you're not one of the lucky few with top-notch retiree health insurance, you could be on the hook for a hefty chunk of those costs. We're talking about a system where a single hospital stay can bankrupt you. A system where people are forced to choose between paying for their medication or putting food on the table. And it's not just healthcare that's eating away at our retirement dreams. The cost of living in general has been steadily rising. Those fixed incomes that many retirees rely on, they're not keeping up with inflation. Okay, millennials and Gen Z, listen up because this one's for you. You're already dealing with student loan debt, a crazy housing market, and the looming threat of climate change. But wait, there's more. you also get to inherit the retirement crisis. As more and more boomers retire, the financial burden will increasingly fall on your shoulders. You'll be paying higher taxes to support Social Security and Medicare, even though you're less likely to receive the same level of benefits. And let's not forget about the whole sandwich generation phenomenon, where you're stuck financially supporting both your aging parents and your own children. This isn't just a generational gripe, it's a recipe for social and economic instability. When entire generations are struggling to make ends meet, it undermines the entire system. So what can you do about it? Vote for politicians who prioritize retirement security, advocate for policy changes, and start saving for your own retirement as early as possible. This is your future we're talking about, and you deserve better. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This is all very depressing. Should I just start hoarding canned goods and living under a bridge? No, put down the spam, friend. While the situation is serious, it's not hopeless. There are steps you can take to improve your retirement outlook. First and foremost, start saving earlier and often. Even small contributions to a retirement account can add up over time thanks to the magic of compound interest. Next up, get educated about your finances. Understand how different retirement accounts work, learn about investment options, and don't be afraid to ask for help from a financial advisor. Another important step, live below your means. The less debt you have and the more you can save, the better off you'll be in retirement. Diversify your retirement savings by investing in a mix of stocks, bonds, and other assets. Here's the thing, folks. We can't just tweak around the edges of a broken system. We need a complete overhaul. Social Security and 401ks were designed for a different era, and they're failing to meet the needs of today's workers, let alone future generations. We need to demand action from our elected officials. We need to pressure them to address the Social Security funding shortfall, make retirement savings more accessible and equitable, and rein in the skyrocketing costs of healthcare. This isn't a partisan issue. It's an American issue. It affects all of us, regardless of our political affiliation. We need to come together and demand a retirement system that works for everyone, not just the wealthy few. Write to your representatives, attend town hall meetings, make some noise. Let them know that retirement security is a top priority. Let's get loud. The retirement crisis is a complex issue with no easy solutions, but one thing is clear: we can't afford to ignore it any longer. The decisions we make today will have a profound impact on the financial security of millions of Americans for generations to come. We need to start by acknowledging the scope of the problem and demanding real solutions from our leaders. We need to rethink the way we approach retirement savings and find ways to make it more accessible and equitable for all. This is a call to action, folks. It's time to get informed, get involved, and fight for a future where everyone has the opportunity to retire with dignity and security. Let's not leave future generations with a mountain of debt and a broken system. Let's build a retirement system that works for everyone. The future of retirement is in our hands.